Spoilers, 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 spoilers. Do not watch this video if you want to enjoy the story of Doki Doki Literature Club for yourself. Again, don't watch this video if you want to just like be surprised by Doki Doki Literature Club. There are spoilers ahead. Just watch something else, please. So I want to talk about for a few minutes Doki Doki Literature Club, um, a surprise twist that's in it, and the connection that that could have to like gaming technology of the future, specifically talking about the exo life created by the company Emoshape. So again, if you don't want the twist in Doki Doki Literature Club spoiled, don't watch this video. Now, before I get into the twist, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Exolife. So the company Emoshape has developed this thing called Exolife. You essentially plug it into your computer, and it works with Unity, which allows you to like design 3D models for games, and Unreal, which is another thing for designing 3D models for games. Exolife allows you to give characters in games sentience. Like that's what they themselves advertise. They say that these characters feel emotions. They can feel happiness, sadness. There's a full spectrum of emotions, and they say that each character will have like its own emotional intelligence. Not only will it be able to feel emotions, but it'll actually be able to like think and reason. And I've seen demos of people putting emotional processing units inside of like stuffed animals. That's the hardware version that you use for like physical objects. So you can put like a emotional processing unit or EPU into like a phone or a computer, and it allows the computer or phone to like feel emotions and have intelligence. And they'll ask it questions like, "What's your opinion of like this person in history?" Like they've asked it like, "How do you feel about Hitler?" And rather than giving an immediate pre-programmed response, it takes a moment to search the internet, and it actually tries to learn about Hitler in order to form an opinion. Um, so the idea that we can give game characters sentience, I think, is really interesting. I feel like it brings up a lot of ethical questions, and I feel like this is really important to look at from an ethical perspective, whether or not we should give characters in video games their own sentience, whether or not we should allow them to feel emotions and have their own thoughts, because of the fact that this could be heavily abused, especially in the industry of video games. Now, not every video game is violent, but a lot of video games are like Call of Duty, where essentially player characters use video game characters as an avatar in order to then like kill other characters in the game. And I feel like most games are based around that kind of thing, using a character to then kill other characters. But if those other characters, or even the character the player is controlling, has their own emotions and is sentient, as they say, is that ethically right? Now, one thing that's been brought up is, does it really matter if you kill a character in a video game? Because when you kill a character in a video game, you don't necessarily delete that character. So it's not like the character is no longer in the game itself. It's just like that instance of the character like disappears or whatever, or they're no longer seen on screen. Maybe their body fades away like after they die or something, whatever. But Doki Doki Literature Club, and here's the spoiler. Here's the spoiler for Doki Doki Literature Club. And Doki Doki Literature Club, which is like a dating sim style game where there are a group of girls and you can pick which girl that like you want to pursue and like which girl you're most interested in. There's a girl named Sayori, and Sayori is incredibly depressed. And essentially, what will happen is if you pay a lot of attention to Sayori, instead of making her happier, it just makes her more and more depressed until eventually she kills herself. You walk into her house and she's hanging like from the ceiling. Keep in mind, this game is like a very light and happy and fun game until a little bit before this point when you learn that Sayori has depression. But it doesn't seem like necessarily that she'll kill herself. And when she does kill herself, the game makes sure to make it a really dramatic and very disturbing moment. But what pushes this moment even farther is the fact that the game then deletes Sayori from the game. So Sayori's entire character file for the game is removed. and Sayori is no longer in the game after this point. Now, this I think is a really big deal when we talk about exolife and EPUs. Should we give video game characters sentience? Because this is essentially a game, not even a violent game necessarily, because this is the only like really violent part of the game is her death in the game and deletion from the game. But I can imagine you having a game where Sayori is like actually run by an emotional processing unit, and Sayori can actually have feelings for the player as the player is like talking with Sayori and stuff like that. But then for whatever reason, if Sayori like dies in the game world, the game then deletes her from the game entirely and she's just no longer in it anymore. Um, but that's essentially like erasing a sentient being at that point. If we want to say that what Exo Life does to a game character is give it sentience, and I'm curious, is that really the right thing to do? Is that like something that we can ethically choose um, for a game character, whether you created that character or not? The idea that you can put sentience into a character and then have some method to delete them completely from existence. Essentially, you could have a fighting game with Exo Life where each opponent that you face off against has their own emotional intelligence and they can like talk with you and they can feel emotions. But if you beat them in the fighting game and they die, then they're deleted from the game. Same thing with like a shooting game or any other genre of game, especially now that we have procedural generation. Procedural generation being that the game can randomly assemble characters itself, and then each of those characters just have like an exo life sentience built in. And then whenever you kill the character in order to free up space in the game, and in order to make their death more permanent, you could just delete them from the game in a similar way to how Sayori dies in Doki Doki Literature Club. But I'm not sure if that's right. I'm not sure if we ethically should do that, and I feel like there's a lot of discussion here for that. So, what do you all think? Do you feel like Exo Life really does give game characters sentience or not? Do you feel like even if it does that matter, considering the fact that they're not like living beings in the same way that we are? And also, what did you think of Sayori's death in Doki Doki Literature Club? Are you watching like someone play it online? I know I'm currently watching Game Grumps play it. Are you playing it yourself? What are your thoughts? Please put those in the comment section below. Always make sure to read the comments, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like this video, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that bell so you'll be notified whenever we do these videos. Thank you all once again for watching, and trust I'll have plenty more videos talking about exo life and emotional processing units in the future. Thank you again for watching, and have a wonderful night. Peace.